Let's enhance our guessing game program to detect and fix any input failure from our user. So to do that, we are going to be modifying our getInteger function. So our getGuess function calls the getInteger, and then this just validates to make sure that the integer returned is 1 to 10. But what about when the user is typing in the input? What if they enter the letter C or 3.14? We want to handle those types of errors. So to do that, in the getInteger function, I have a variable num, and then I'll print out the prompt and I'll read it in num. And so this is where we're going to add our loop. We are going to say while cin is in a fail state, so we can do that two ways. I can say not cin, or I can say cin fail. Or what if they enter the number 3.45? It will read in the 3, and that will be a valid integer. And then this will be in the input stream. Cin will not have gone into fail state, right? We haven't asked for another integer yet. And so we want to make sure that anything typed after a 3 is also handled correctly. This will handle if the user enters cat 345, right? The input stream will go into failure because C is not an integer. But if they enter 3.45, this is valid. The 3 is valid, but then we still have stuff left in the input stream. What should be in the input stream is a new line character. If the user just typed a 3 and then hit enter, there should be a 3 in num, and then there should be a new line character in the input stream. So that's what we want to test for. We want to test if there's not a new line character in the input stream. So we'll say if cin peak is not equal to the new line. Okay, so if it went into fail state, or if an integer was picked off, but the next character is not the new line, we need to do something. Okay, and what we are going to do is we are going to clear the error, and it doesn't hurt to clear it even if it's not in fail state. And then we're going to flush out the rest of the input stream. So we're going to delete everything that's left in there. So we'll say cin ignore, and then we'll put a number. I just arbitrarily always put 100. That means the next 100 characters or until we get to a new line. Okay, so it will stop as soon as it gets to the new line. And then I will go ahead and do the prompt again and then read it in again. So I'm going to run that. Integer, if I do a C, it's just going to prompt me again. So what I failed to do was print an error. So cout invalid input. C invalid input, put 3.45, invalid input 3. That's not correct. Guess again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was 6. So let's just comment out this part for now so we can walk through that again. So let's say I enter 3. Okay, that's a valid. But what if I do 4.56? It says not correct, guess again, because it picked off the 4, right? And then cin went, then what was left in the input stream was 0.56. So when I said enter an integer, it saw the point and it says that's an invalid input because the 0.56 was still in that input stream, right? And then it went ahead and is prompting me again. Okay, so what I need to do is add that back to handle that error. And there you go. So we've written a function, getInteger, that will read in an integer. And if the user types in something that's not an integer, cin will go into fail state. We'll print a message, clear it, and ignore anything else in the stream and prompt again. If the user enters an integer followed by other input, we'll look into the stream. If it's not a new line character, we know that that's going to mess up our program. So we'll clear the error again, which there is no error, but that doesn't hurt to do that. And then we'll ignore the next 100 characters are up to the new line, and then we'll prompt again.